everyone, welcome back to Beekeeping with Natalie, or welcome to if you are new. Today's video is going to be a little controversial, I think is how you say it. But we're going to be talking about something I've talked about before, and I always do a video on it once or twice a year, just because it's always kind of just a reminder for people, I guess, that this is what we experience in our bee yards, and it also for beginner beekeepers too, because I know when we first started, we thought this also, so it's not like it's a bad thing, but a lot of people go around saying that honey isn't ready until it's fully capped. And a lot of times our bees don't even cap it. Like they get to the point where they just don't cap it for a while. And sometimes we don't have the time to wait for it. So what you can do is use a refractometer, which is what we have here, and test the moisture content in the honey, which is what we're going to do today. So I'll show you what that looks like. You can get this just off of Amazon. So we're just going to test it today, but I wanted to, where's my veil? Here it is. I wanted to talk about this because the other day we were going to try and pull honey, and I actually went and tested it before we pulled it, and it was capped honey that was at 20%, and then there was some that we had already pulled that was not capped, and it was around 18 to 17%, which is where we want it to be. So it's just weird how a lot of times you'll want it to be capped, but sometimes it's not even ready when it's at that point. But what we do normally is whenever it's not at the temperature, or not temperature, at the level we want it to be at, we'll put it with a dehumidifier in a closed room, and we'll leave it there for like a couple days maybe, and then the number will slowly come down. So that's probably what we'll do if this doesn't test right, but we're going to check this today. I've got on a Guardian suit today. It's actually a newer one. So I think I've used it like once or twice so far. And I've talked about them before. They've got some good suits. If I can get this zipper. There we go. Okay, so let's just open up this hive to see what these supers look like. I'm going to hope to pull as much as I can today. I might pull from this one or I might not, but what I'm going to be paying attention to today is if they're singles or doubles. If we're doing single brood on them, just like this one, I'll probably only pull 1 or 2 supers depending on how many they have on there. If they only have 1 or 2, I'm just not going to bother. Now, if they are doubles, I'm going to pull everything off of them, and that's because we don't want to starve them, because we're taking pretty much all of their food if they're a single. And right now, we don't have time to feed them all and get them all prepped and ready before we go out of town here, so we're not gonna pull all of them today, just those doubles. Okay, so this one looks like it's got 4 supers on it, and I think most of it looks capped. But let's go ahead and just test it. Now sometimes, unless we're going out of town and we need it soon, sometimes it doesn't even matter what it's testing at. We'll just pull it, because either way we need it, and we're going to put it in a dehumidifier room. But I still like to test it just to know where it's at and if we even need to do that. So this one does look capped actually, which is good. And I'm going to assume either, I can't remember if we stacked them with the heaviest on top or not, but I'm going to assume the rest of them are probably full. It looks like they are. This next one actually looks like fresh foundation. But let's go ahead and test some capped honey to see where it's at. So all you do here is, some people will say don't use your hive tool just in case it scratches the glass on this refractometer. So I'm just going to use my finger. You want to use a good amount, so that way it's not a blurry test or anything. So you just take a little bit there on your finger. Now I'm not going to lie. The second you pull, like after a while, you start to know. But I don't know if you can tell, but that's like really, really thick. So I'm going to take a wild guess and say this is going to test closer to 18. Probably about ready, actually. Okay, so it's 17.5. That's really good, actually, because I came here a couple days ago to test it, and it was at 20. But I might not have tested this one. So it looked like they were all kind of at a different spot, and this one's at 17, which is good. I'm gonna clean this. Okay, so that one's testing really good.
Is it good?
It's actually really good, yeah. I think it's probably earlier. Yeah, it's really good actually. Okay, so that one looks good. So this is, a lot of times if they're not testing that great, I'll go ahead and test 2 frames. It's normally the outside frames, and I'll test those 2 in each super. But I'm pretty sure these ones are good, so I'm not going to test the rest of it in this box right here, but I might test some more down below. I'm curious to see if we have any uncapped though, just to test that and see where it's at. There was one super I tested the other day that was testing at 20. I think I said tested at least 30 times already. But like the whole point of this video is just to encourage you to buy a refractometer and to not go off of what the bees are doing, because sometimes they just won't end up even capping it. I don't know why, but like they won't cap it until it's like the very last second. Sometimes you just can't wait that long. But let's pull out another frame and this one over here. I think there might be a little bit of uncapped honey in it. Let's just check. Whoop. We've got a lot of singles in here actually. So I guess we won't be pulling that much honey today. I think there's some out here at the edge. Let's see what that's at. Sometimes you can test a few supers and then you just know that the rest of them are going to be testing the same, but every now and then there's a yard where they're all a little bit different. So let's do this one here. I want to make sure you clean it off too before. I'm just going to pull this off a little bit. I'm not going to do that on camera, but you want to make sure you definitely clean it too, especially if you're going to clean it your own way. Okay. So this is just a little bit uncapped. I'll do this side. This one's also pretty thick. It looks really light actually. I don't really know if there's a flow on. It's really confusing because we'll go a couple days where all they're doing is just robbing everywhere, and then we'll go another day where they're just filling up boxes. So we have some supers on just in case there is something out there, but we're not really much of a fall float kind of people. I don't know, they're just not very good, and I don't like fall honey anyways. But if we can get a little bit of something. Okay, this one's also testing at 18. So it's just a little bit higher than that one, because that one was closer to 17. This one's just above 18 right there, so, but it's uncapped honey and it's testing where we need it to be. I usually like to pull it at, extract it at 18 at least. We extracted some the other day that was 16, I think, and that's the worst kind of honey to extract because it doesn't matter how long you spin it, it's just not going to come out of those cells. So that's a good number. So what we can actually do is just load this up, take it home, and then extract it pretty much immediately because we don't have to wait for it. So that's good, but that's just kind of to show you, just buy a refractometer, test your honey instead of just going off of if it's capped or not, because most of this doesn't look capped and it looks like it's ready. Now if it is completely uncapped, sometimes I'll test 2 frames in there just to be sure, and also it makes extracting a lot faster too because you don't have to uncap the honey. But anyways, I think that's it. So kind of a boring video, but just something that's also important for new beekeepers, because I know we used to go off of if it was capped or not, but just kind of shows that you really don't have to, and just to check it. But I think that's pretty much it for today's video. So thanks for following along. Oh shoot, how do you say that? Thanks for watching today's video. Follow along for more bee adventures and be here next time on Beekeeping with Natalie.